Welcome to Karma's Harvest. A life built on a digital screen is nothing more than a house of cards, waiting for a single gust of truth. What happens when the person you are pretending to be becomes the most hunted man in the city? Would you still want their luxury watch if you knew it came with a target on your back? What happened next to Daniel changed everything, and it started with a single post button. Daniel was a man who felt invisible. By day, he worked a dead-end job filing papers, but by night, he lived 1,000 lives. He was a predator of pixels. His prey was a man named Julian, a tech entrepreneur who lived a life of private jets, gold-wrapped supercars, and rooftop galas. Julian posted everything, and Daniel took everything. He cropped Julian's face out, replaced it with a blurred silhouette, or a clever angle of his own expensive-looking watch, which was actually a high-quality knockoff, and created a digital ghost. On Instagram, Daniel wasn't a filing clerk, he was D.J. Sterling, the heir to a venture capital empire. He didn't just do it for the likes. He did it for the leverage. People believe what they see, and they see what you show them. Soon, Daniel was using his fake status to consult for small investors, taking their life savings with the promise of exclusive access to Julian's world. He felt untouchable. He felt like he had hacked the system of the universe. He was living in a 5-star hotel suite, funded by his victims, wearing clothes he hadn't paid for, and drinking wine that cost more than his father's monthly pension. But here is the thing about shadows. They are only visible as long as the light stays on. One Tuesday evening, while Daniel was preparing to post a photo of a vintage cognac, his phone erupted with notifications. Julian, the real Julian, hadn't posted in 3 days. That was the first red flag. The second was the news headline that began to trend, Tech Prodigy. Julian Vance files for bankruptcy amidst 80 million fraud investigation. The world Daniel had been mimicking wasn't just crumbling, it was exploding. Julian hadn't just lost his money, he had lost money belonging to some very powerful, very quiet, and very dangerous men. Men who didn't file lawsuits, but rather sent collectors. Daniel panicked. He tried to delete the account, but the screen froze. His hotel room door didn't just knock, it shuddered under the weight of a heavy boot. 3 men entered. They didn't look like police. They looked like the end of a long, dark road. They held up a phone. On the screen was Daniel's latest post, the cognac. They looked at the photo, then looked at Daniel. To them, the blurred face and the luxury setting weren't a lie. They were a trail. They didn't care about his real name or his filing job. They saw the sterling brand he had built on Julian's stolen images, and decided he was the one hiding the missing millions. Daniel tried to scream that he was a fraud, that he was a nobody who lived in a lie. But who would believe a con man claiming to be a con man? They dragged him out of the suite, not to a precinct, but to a black SUV waiting in the shadows. He had spent years trying to convince the world he was that man. Now he was trapped in a reality where being himself was a crime, and being him was a death sentence. As the car sped away into the night, Daniel realized that the harvest of his lies was finally ready for reaping. But the true horror was only just beginning. What do these men have planned for a billionaire who has no billions? And how far will Daniel go to survive the identity he so desperately wanted? The answers lie in the dark woods where the SUV is heading. If you want to see how this web of lies finally snaps, you cannot miss part 2. Make sure you are subscribed and have your notifications turned on, because the conclusion to Daniel's nightmare is coming sooner than you think. You won't believe where they take him.